So the movie was really good, but this was one of my worst experiences in the movies this entire year. I was gassy the entire time, and this movie has some silent moments in it, and I was just like, my body was an orchestra of disgusting sounds for much of the runtime, and I felt like people could hear it. Now nobody was next to me. I sat in one of those like handicap companion seats. Nobody in the theater needed those seats, but like if somebody does need those seats, you give them up. But nobody needed them, right? So I sat in those because I bought the ticket for that, and then other people sat in theirs, but mine was isolated from the rest, and I still felt like my sounds were like loud enough for them to hear. Don't know if they were. Don't know. So if you saw a tall man with braids leave your theater midway through the movie to like stand up and walk in the hallway for a bit, that was me. I was having gassy attacks, and I had to do something about it. You shouldn't chew gum when you're talking into a mic. Anyway, I just wanted to relay that to you. All right, so Relay is, honestly, it's a good movie. It's a damn good movie. There's like a description here I could read. Okay, a broker of lucrative payoffs between corrupt corporations and the individuals. Jesus Christ. We know who was not called on to read when popcorn was happening in school. You know, when they would popcorn you, don't call me. Don't call me. You might be late for lunch. All right, so a broker of lucrative payoffs between corrupt corporations and the individuals who threaten them breaks his own rules when a new client seeks his protection to stay alive. That's essentially the movie. I'll give you a little bit more detail. So that's from IMDb, by the way. I am not DB, I am JB. But the liaison in this movie is this like very tactical character who is isolated to do his job to benefit others. The others are people that reach out, and under threatening circumstances, they reach out to try to get disconnected from an attempted whistleblowing experience. So they wanted to snitch. Snitch is a good connotation in this context. They wanted to snitch on the company that was doing nefarious things, but they didn't, yet the company's still threatening them. So they want to like break that bond. And breaking that bond requires this liaison because the company will beat you up, if not kill you, if you don't have somebody else looking out for you. And this guy does that. So he's really a servant for the public, but he's not necessarily like letting news break. He's getting his clients unattached. He's detaching them from the experience of whistleblowing so they can live a normal life after, get a payout, he gets a cut, and then the company goes their separate way. Do they change their tactics? Probably not, but that's the understanding I got from this story. But basically, this guy he's not a morally corrupt person. He's not just trying to exploit desperate people for his cut of the money. He does care, but he understands that like these things are much bigger than him, and he helps where he can basically. He helps where he can basically. And I really liked him. Like he's a very quiet character. There's a reason for that in the plot. Not necessarily like a completely justified reason for why he communicates the way he does. Either way, it's very cool. So the relay system, I don't know if it's a real system that's like integrated in New York or not, but this city, the city in the movie, which is New York and Newark, it seems like, they have this tri-state relay system, which is this call center essentially that allows people to communicate, people who are deaf and perhaps mute, communicate using a device that is like creating a transcript to a call center, and the call center can communicate to the client on behalf of you. And I think that's a really cool thing. And that is one of the reasons why there's not a lot of talking with this character, because most of his dialogue is delivered via typing, which I thought was a nice touch. And I'm glad that service exists if it actually is a true thing across the tri-state area. I don't know if it is. It probably is, though. But that's a really cool thing. What else is happening here? So this character comes across a new client, and he's a lonely man because his job requires that he isolates himself, because the more strings attached you have, the stickier the situation can be. So he stays pretty distant from people. And in that, you really only see him interact with people in his Alcohol Anonymous group and his clients. One of his clients, the main person that he's dealing with in this movie, is Lily James's character, and she is a stunning woman in need of his services. And naturally, over that time, they start getting closer and closer, and chaos ensues because obviously he now has strings attached to something, and it gets complicated. Perhaps even more complicated than you might think, which I think is a nice touch on the movie. You also have Sam Worthington and a few other characters, Willa Fitzgerald, and a couple characters I don't recognize, but they're like the enforcer for one of the companies that this guy is seeking to expose. And not going to get into details about what's happening on either like level with the enforcement team or the company's conspiracy, none of that. But it's good. You have these villains chasing our hero around. You have our hero helping a damsel in distress, and you have the worlds colliding in very interesting ways. I think this is kind of a throwback to like maybe like a 2000s type movie where you would see these things in a Walmart bin and pick them up and be like, yo, this is pretty damn good. Like, is this gonna win an award? No. Is this gonna be on somebody's top 10 movies of the year? Probably not. But it's a servable movie. It's a good experience. And for that, I highly recommend it. I think if you want to watch this at home, you may be better off. I think it is a bit slow in the beginning, not because it's wasting time. It's just like it's setting up things. It's showing you who this character is without saying too much. It's showing you how his life is, how he operates in the city. Because it uses New York City as a character, not necessarily in the most New York City kind of way, but like he's going to certain New York places that are like probably very exclusive to that city, like cool cafes that like Atlanta may not have, or like Chinese spot or Asian spots that look very New York. It uses the city. You see like this guy carrying a bunch of meat and like a wheelbarrow, like rolling into the restaurant at one point. Like it feels lived in enough to make you feel like, yes, this is in New York. This is in Jersey at some points. This is a cool environment for this character to do this sneaky stuff in. It's a busy city, so you never know who you're standing next to. And in the real world, you might be standing next to a dude like this doing heroic things that he's doing. I give this movie what did I think of? I think I was like at a 9 earlier. The more I talk, I'm like, it's an 8.5. Like, I don't want to sell this too high. It's a good watch though. I believe it comes out August 25th, and you should give it your money. August 22nd. I'm just making shit up. It comes out August 22nd. I'm tired. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm tired. August 22nd. Damn good movie. I did also want to talk about whistleblowing. Not necessarily directly whistleblowing, but the review is over. I'm going to talk politics for a second. I don't want to get emotional, but I majored in journalism, okay? And I didn't do it. I felt like when I met the people in the class, I was like, these personalities are not who I want to be around. And journalists work very hard. They're very underappreciated in our society. They help you understand the truth. And the more impartial, investigative journalists are the ones that are really the heroes of our society. The people I listen to, Ryan Grimm, Ken Klippenstein, their correspondents in Gaza. This is what I'm about to speak about. The IDF has murdered a lot of journalists. Like, I believe we're approaching 200, which makes this the deadliest war for journalists in modern history. And that says a lot. And this is a very intentional thing. And again, this is not directly related to whistleblowing, but like whistleblowers, they risk their lives to tell the truth. And they really exist in our society. A lot of them get excommunicated and have to dip off to other nations with like no extradition. But like these people exist amongst us, and I think we need to do a better job of protecting them as society, because at the end of the day, they're looking out for us. So if some company is poisoning the local river down the street from you, or a data center is going to ruin your life in some way or another, like these people will speak up on your behalf, and a lot of them are shunned. I'm sure some of them are killed, and we aren't doing enough. And I don't have any initiative that I'm attached to. I'm not doing enough. Nobody's probably doing enough. But again, Israel has killed, I believe, almost 200 journalists. I believe the direct number might be 186, but again, they killed several just 24 hours ago. And I wanted to say that, please, like, if you do nothing, I know we all have social media. Like, I know you want to follow your favorite rapper, celebrity, basketball player, whoever they are, content creator. I know you want to follow people, but you do owe it to yourself and our society as a whole to follow some journalists. And Gaza is a conflict that I feel emotionally attached to. Just because as a minority, man, like you react to colonization in a certain type of way, especially if your people were victims of that. And that is exactly what is happening in Gaza and the West Bank. And ethnic cleansing is a serious thing, and it's easy to identify, and people are gaslighting us into thinking it's not a real thing. And the only thing giving us the truth, since like a lot of media outlets are not allowed in, I don't think any has been allowed in almost 2 years now. The people that are there operating within Gaza are our only chance at truth, and they're being targeted. Some of their families are being targeted. And I don't know what to say. There's no solution here. getting kind of emotional about it, but like, please just follow the journalists so you can at least attach yourself to the truth in a more effective way. You can't get it from Fox and CNN. You can't get it from MSNBC. These mainstream platforms, they all have an agenda. They all have money sources that will not allow them, funding that will not allow them to speak truth to power. But these independent people, they do their best. So I want to give a recommendation if you are still here. I like Ken Klippenstein. Ryan Grimm is, I think, is a legend. And the programs that they may be attached to or source information to, like Breaking Points. Breaking Points is a bit of a thing because it's like you got a conservative on the panel, and then you got a progressive, whether that's Crystal Ball, which is a great name, or Ryan Grimm, which is also a great name. And then Secular Talk, Kyle Kalinske, that's who I watch most. Sam Cedar does a good job of having people come on and speak truth to power. He is the Majority Report. That's his program. We'll try to link these in the description. But please, I'm sorry I'm ranting here, but like seriously, this means a lot to, I mean, millions of people worldwide, but our governments and our politicians and our media outlets are gaslighting us. But like, please make sure these people understand that when they, because a lot of them are going to die. More people are going to die. Just lay eyes on their work. Like, they're risking their lives to take pictures of the famine. They're risking their lives to take picture of the ruins, of videos of the bomb. In the West Bank, a creator, journalist, person, I don't know what he was exactly, so pardon me, but like, he was just shot by a settler just last week, I believe. And it's on video. It's on his video from his phone. These things are accessible. If you don't know what's going on, it's your fault. I'm trying to help you. The people that are helping me can help you. I will link them. Thank you.